Hello and a very good evening and welcome to this netball show on this Wednesday night. Great to have your company. Round 7 action done and dusted. We're up to round 8 this weekend and looking forward to another great round of netball. Joining me as always, she's been a permanent fixture of the team the last couple of weeks, and I speak of Kate Lindsay. Kate?
Hilly, what's going on? I love what you're wearing tonight.
Well, I've been stitched up here.
I'll explain the Camperdown one and you can take the Saints.
I'll tell you one thing I did. Last year with Trish, I never tipped netball because I knew if you tip a team and they don't win, you always get the repercussions. Yep. You know, you might get a sneaky text or whatever it may be. Well, I thought, no, I'll be in. It's all in good nature and so forth. But it's backfired. It's backfired a little bit this week. So we had Casey Barley on last week for her 250th game. And I love Case, and she did put me on the spot a little bit going, you're going to tip the Croydon Saints this week? And I said, oh, yeah. And then I said to you off air, I said, I still think Hamilton might get the job done. Not to be the case, so you've given me this beautiful scarf from the Croydon Saints. I brought you the same
scarf, and then you also tipped against Camperdown, and Camperdown got their first win of the season. And I texted Em Stevens this morning and I said, what do you reckon we get Hilly in a Camperdown beanie tonight? Can you arrange it? And she came through with the goods, so I picked it up on the way here.
Oh, I love it. Thanks, Em. You're lucky I'm wearing this because I despise magpies. Those of Collingwood, but because it's Camperdown, I might wear it to Camperdown. Our match of the day this week's Camperdown. Take you on Port Fairy, so I might wear it in the commentary box and, just make out I'm a part of the Camperdown faithful. It should be a bit of fun, but all in good jest, and it shows you that people do watch the program.
Correct.
I love it. Hey, we've got a big show, a couple of great guests tonight, one from South Warrnambool, one from the Hamilton Kangaroos. We'll go to Roosterland first. We're going to catch up with one of their young guns in Meg Kelson. Meg, thanks for jumping on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Meg, what a great start to the season by the South Warrnambool Roosters. Obviously coming off a premiership and no doubt a little bit of extra pressure because you're going to be the team that's going to be hunted, but you must be happy as a team how things have started for season 2023.
Yeah, 100%. I think our team's just stepped it up so much this year. It's been amazing to see. And yeah, obviously we've gone through undefeated so far, but we've got a few challenges coming up in the next couple of weeks, as all of them have been challenging, but yeah.
You got a big game in I think 2 weeks, Meg, where you'll come up against Cobden, which will, really tell us at midway of the season who's sitting where. What are you doing in preparation for that game? Obviously, Cobden have had huge changes in the off-season and you guys have taken it up a level. What's different about your game this year?
I think our game plan hasn't changed too much. We said at the start of the year that what happened last year is behind us. Like we're not bringing that into this season because it's a new year and a new season. And yeah, Cobden have a lot of depth and obviously they're a really good side. We came up against them in the grand final last year and we know that they'll be really tough again this year. And when we do play them, know that it's going to take the full 60 minutes to see who's the winner.
Hey, Meg, I don't get to get out and watch a lot of the netball, but when I get over there, and I've seen a couple of South sort of bits and pieces of games, and I watch a bit of the replay and footage and so forth that we get sent through, you guys seem to be fitter. And looking at scores, it seems like you guys are really wearing teams down because you're so fit and you're so quick with your ball movement. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on court, it feels so fast. Even when we watch it back though, and we're like, oh, it doesn't look that fast. But on court, it feels so fast. Definitely, the whole team is so fit. We had a big pre-season and everyone, I think, went away and did their own sessions as well. And it's definitely paid off. And you can definitely tell that everyone's really fit.
Your game, Meg, this year, I think you've taken it up a notch and you're obviously, you can move between multiple positions on the court. You can even jump in the ring. So what is it about your game that's changed or evolved in the off-season that's made you such a tough opponent this year?
I think even I definitely tried to get some extra fitness sessions in to make sure that I was up to the standard of Open because it's fast and all the players are so strong, so you need to make sure that you're strong enough to match them. And yeah, I just taking on board everything that Will gives me with feedback each week just to make sure that I keep improving. And yeah, he knows what he's talking about, so take that all on board and try and implement it in the game.
I was going to say, Megs, you guys are so lucky. Actually, all the clubs are lucky. We've got great coaches across the board, but The Roosters have found a real gem in Will. With his vast netball experience, how much have you learnt from Will, over the last couple of years since his involvement at South's occurred?
Yeah, I've learnt so much from him. It's been amazing. Like, obviously, he played at such a high level for Australia and in the Victorian teams and all of that. So everything that he learnt there, he brings back to us. So we're getting like top knowledge from someone that's like getting knowledge from an Australian coach or a Victorian coach. So yeah, it's definitely taking it all on board.
Hey Meg, we better let you go. I know you've got other things happening tonight, so a big thank you for jumping on the Netball show tonight. Really appreciate it. We love what you're doing at the South Warrnambool Roosters, and good luck for the rest of the year, buddy.
Thank you.
Meg Kelson, what a star she's been, and she had some big responsibilities last year when they had a couple of injuries throughout the course of the year. So just taking it by, taking every opportunity that comes.
Absolutely. And wing defence is often like an unsung, they don't get flashy intercepts. They're not doing anything sort of, that get them stats. But what Meg really does well is she wears down her opponents.
Yeah.
And, she takes them out of the game and is able to turn over a lot of ball for her team. And she's a fantastic asset to South.
I know her mum really well and seen her mum play a lot of netball up at South Rovers when she was up there, and obviously Maryvale. And love the contest, and I can imagine that would be something that's been sort of handed down to Meg as well. I reckon Meg would be one that just loves the contest.
I think she's definitely got that off her mum because, her mum was a fantastic netballer, and Meg is definitely a fantastic netballer as well.
Hey, let's go to Hamilton now. We're going to catch up with their gun goal shooter, Danielle Van Kalken. Is probably one of the great surnames of the Open Division, and Danielle's been kind enough to join us. Thanks for jumping on, Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, great to have you on now. I have got a bone to pick with you guys. I tipped just last week, and you guys are the beneficiaries of me wearing this Keroit scarf, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But all in seriousness, welcome back to the Hampton League. I know you've been with Hamilton previously. Is it nice to be back home?
Yeah, it is quite nice to be home. Been away for a few years, so testing out the waters around the home soil was quite nice, and to kind of feel privileged enough to slot into the open side's been quite a good experience. So loving every minute of it.
You had an incredible game on the weekend, and I just watched in awe of your movement. The way you move the ball is so slick. You're a very accurate shooter. How have you, I suppose, taken on the strong league? Hampton has always been synonymous to being a really tough league around here. How does it compare to where you've played previously?
Yeah, I think compared to where I've played previously, it's all depending on who you verse and stuff like that. But of course, just adapting. I've got some amazing players around me that have taught me some great things and some awesome knowledge to take on board. So that's kind of helped me get on my way to versing some of these massive and big name opponents, which I love every minute of. So taking on with both hands is my go-to.
Hey Danielle, and you're speaking about opponents. I love the goal shooters, and I'm a big fan. I've always have been, just because I think it's an underrated job, and you don't see a lot of reward, in best players and in best and fairest votes for those that shoot big scores. It takes a fair bit of work to do shoot your 50s and 60s and so forth. But I also very, I love seeing the defenders like your Remy McCanns and these sort of players. So your job doesn't get easy each week because you're attracting the best to try and stop you. So it's not an easy comp, and each team has a really good defender.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm good friends with Rem, so it's a bit of a challenge on the netball court to put that on the side. But no, I love every challenge that comes my way, and I'm sure they do too. So I think that's a part of the league that we're in, is everyone's there for the same reason, and we all like to win. So who's ever better on the day is how it goes down. But that's what I love about it, and that's why I enjoy being in open as well. It gives me the best of the best, and I've got to try and beat them somehow. So I love it. So no, it's good.
And in the off season, you've welcomed back a few players, and your team is so it's a lot stronger than last year. And I love the versatility of your side, that you don't probably have those tall holding shooters. You've got two really quick shooters, and not that you're short, but in comparison to the other 6 foot goalies in other teams, I think that Hamilton has really drawn on their strengths, which is their speed. What else is sort of a focus for your team in terms of the strengths that you can all bring?
Well, it's nice to feel, even though we are quite on the shorter side, that our strengths are our knowledge and what everyone can bring to their game, to bring as a team together. And we have a fair bit of strength in there, and it's everyone's teaching everyone, which just makes it feel like that. The stronger that we are together, being such a tight-knit team, the better we can only get from there. So, and the Somerville girls have got us on a string line the way they like, which is nice. I like that. I like they know what they want and they know what they want to get out of us, and every one of our team members are there for the same reason, and to have fun as well on the sideline is just an added bonus. So I guess having a good team and having that practice and the skill that everyone can bring just makes it good in the end.
You've got two gun leaders there, both great players and great leaders in their own right. You guys are in the 5, you're 4-2, and you've had the draw as well. You're sitting 4th. As a team, are you happy with the first 7 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, you just take what you can get. I guess sometimes you take the goods with the bads, and we're just running with, we take positives out of every game that we win, lose or draw. So as long as we're taking stuff out of each game is what we're planning on to get us to the end. So wherever we sit, we're obviously trying to push to win that every game. But we're just taking things game by game and deal what we've got with at the moment, which is sitting us nicely in 4th. Obviously, you'd love to be undefeated, as everyone would. But no, we're working with it. So it's, we're quite happy where we are at the moment. Well, I hope so anyway, with our coaches. I'm not going to talk on behalf of the coaches, but I hope so.
No, you guys are doing absolutely well. Big game against Terang Mortlake this weekend. Danielle, thanks for jumping on the Netball show. We really appreciate your time. It's we love getting new people on the show each and every week, and it's great to meet you and have a chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed it. So thanks.
See you, Danielle.
Danielle Van Kalken, goal shooter extraordinaire from the Hamilton Kangaroos. And I'll tell you what, you go through the best players and, the top 3 over the first 7 rounds. Her name's featured pretty prominently for the Kangaroos, so they must have a huge opinion of not just her goal shooting prowess, but also the work she does around the front court as well for them to open up opportunities to score.
Totally, and she's got really great skills and she executes really well. She's bringing in other players around her and she's really encouraging and vocal on the court. And I think that any team needs a player like her that is going to put up a big volume for you, but is also going to support her teammates.
Yeah, no, I love it. Great to have the Hamilton Kangaroos. And it was funny, last night we were texting, we were trying to get guests, and we had a few that teed up and they weren't coming and so forth. So there's a couple of last-ditch efforts this morning, and now we're booked up with guests for the next 3 weeks, which is funny. Danielle's jumped on, which was kind.
Fantastic to have her too.
She accepted the invitation this morning, which was lovely. Hey, let's go back to round 7 results, and we'll look at some of the highlights. I don't think we've got all the games, but the games we've got we'll certainly have a look at. And the first game there
is
Croydon Hamilton. And guess what? The mighty Saints got the job done in game 250 for the great Casey Barling, formerly Owen. Good win there by the Saints. Yeah,
it was. And our young guns really led us. Shelby O'Sullivan, Millie Jennings and Scarlett O'Donnell were great through the midcourt. And Molly McKinnon, who's moved up into goal attack this year, gave us a great return, I think 20 goals. It was a really good game. And Croydon, they were out to an 8-goal lead at 3/4 time.
Yeah, I was going to say, good third quarter.
Yeah, Hamilton were really strong in the last.
Cobden took on Port Fairy, and the Bombers, they were lethal, weren't they? They had a huge win there, getting the job done, 88-13. So I think from a personal point of view, while the attacking score is really positive, I think Cobden were really happy with the defensive effort.
Agreed. I mean, they're rotating a lot of players through, and they'll obviously need to make some decisions leading into round 10, but really good to welcome back Molly Hutt back into the open side, coming back from injury, and she's worked through Div 1, and they're sport for choice there.
And Emily Finch, just another lazy 67. She is just killing it at the moment. She'll get RSI in that shooting arm. She's shot that many this year thus far. And then the last game where we'll look for the highlights is South Warrnambool will take on the North Warrnambool Eagles. And, well, the Roosters, they're just going on beautifully at the moment, aren't they? 64-28. It's a bigger win. No Maddie Vardy certainly hurts the lineup there for the North Warrnambool Eagles. And they've got some good young ones in there, but we just know how polished South Warrnambool are.
They are, and the return this, Annie and Holly were more evenly spread with their return, which is really good when you've got a goal attack firing. And Tani Porter was fantastic for the Eagles. So I think, it was a really good game by South.
The mighty Camperdown Magpies got their first win of the season. Emily Stevens and the team, Megan Titmus, it's unbelievable. I'm pumped. 35-33. Good game of netball. Like, we forecast it was going to be a tight game.
We did.
You just tipped incorrectly.
I
just tipped it incorrectly, yeah.
I texted Em after the game and just said, incredible. And she said a couple of things, that they lost their way a bit in the fourth and they actually got down by 4 goals. But to keep fighting and a group like that, the average age is quite young.
Yep.
To fight back from a 4-goal lead and win by 2 is incredible. But Em said that Sophie Kennedy was incredible and Piper Stevens, who we've had on the show before, was fantastic.
Sophie Kennedy, 23 goals.
Fantastic return from a young goalie. Yep. And for Portland, their goal defence, Hayley Reid, was named their best player. And from all reports, she had a really solid 4 quarters.
Did see Lauren Hockley played in the Open Division too. So
she's a fantastic person to have in that open side.
Great leader, Lauren, and she's been a star for a long time. And then the last game, another tight one, Warrnambool, taking on Terang Mortlake. And I'm surprised you get onto the Blues, because I think I tipped the Bloods in this one as well.
Oh,
so I should have got the netball skirt from Warrnambool.
We'll get one. You've said that. So next, if anyone from Warrnambool's watching,
Amy Wormwood will be all over that. But a good win there by the Blues, 40-38. Title game. The Bloods were up by 7 at 3/4 time and only shot 5 goals in the last quarter, where the Blues shot 14. So they played some good netball in that last turn, the Blues.
Yeah, and I think Terang will be disappointed to not be able to hold on to the lead. That's a pretty big lead going into the last. But Warrnambool, fantastic. Sarah Smith was a really big contributor, playing across wing attack and wing defence.
Yep.
And I think that from quarter time, Warrnambool stuck with the same 7 and let them run it out, and that's really good. To be able to have faith in them to do that. But I think Terang will be very hungry for a win.
One thing I did get happy about, I love my goalies, Eva Ryan. She's only 16, 17.
I think she's like 14.
15.
I'm fairly sure she's still
like
in.
We'll
under
get a confirmed
17.
age. We'll get a confirmed age for next week.
She's under 18.
Under 18, but 33 out of 40.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's incredible.
Against a really good side too.
Absolutely, and she's a really accurate goalie. She's a great target for them, and if the ball's delivered to her well, she'll compete with any defender in the air. So a great return from her.
Hey, let's go to the ladder after 7 rounds of the Open Division netball competition. We've got the graphic there. So Roosters on top, undefeated, followed by the Bombers. The Saints go to 3rd. They jumped up. They're on 20 points. Hamilton Kangaroos on 18, and the Blues inside the 5 on 16. Just outside by percentage, North Warrnambool. Terang Mortlake only a game out. The Magpies got their first win, and obviously Portland and Port Fairy still yet to register a win, but I don't think we're far away from those two sides enjoying some success. So tight right down to 7th spot, realistically. Things are interesting after 7 rounds, and still a lot more to play out over the next 11 rounds. Let's have a look at this weekend's game. Our Hampton League Live match of the day is Camperdown taking on the Port Fairy Seagulls. And to be honest, this has been a contest I've been waiting for in the netball side of things. 2 young emerging lists. Obviously, Camperdown are going to be on a high after last week's win. But Port Fairy, they're going to see it as a realistic chance as well, knowing that Camperdown are in the same sort of predicament of what they are, that young list as well. Yeah,
both rebuilding their clubs, I suppose you could say. And both would be very hungry. Obviously, Camperdown will want 2 in a row, and Port Fairy chasing their first. I still think that Camperdown will win. I'm going to back them in for 2 in a row. I just think the fight in that young side last week shows that they can come from behind. Yeah,
I'm aboard the Stevens train, so I'm going Camperdown, so I'd have to do anything more from Camperdown. So, but I truly believe Camperdown, great side, and a good young emerging side, and I think the win's going to spur them on and give them some great confidence. So I'll go with Camperdown. We've got South Warrnambool taking on the Portland Tigers. We just want Portland. I'm tipping South, obviously, and I know that you probably will as well, but just Portland to be really competitive.
Agreed, yeah, and to get some consistency on court for them, to be able to tick off a few goals that they want to do themselves as a team and individuals, and just give it a crack. It's obviously going to be a challenging game, but just setting small, achievable goals will be what's going to keep them, up and about.
Yep. Next game, Koroit taking on the North Warrnambool Eagles.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to tip against Koroit. But honestly, I think last week's win's huge. To be honest with you, I really rate Hamilton. I really do. I think they're a great side. But, Koroit, great effort last week. And, you talk about the youngsters, Scarlett O'Donnell, Millie Jennings, Shelby O'Sullivan. They're not just in there to play a spot. They're actually in there to play a role. And that's what I love about what they're doing at the moment. Shelby O'Sullivan, young gun.
Yeah.
I want to go and see a bit of Koroit because I don't know how good this girl's going to be.
Yeah, her footwork is incredible. She's really quick. She's really efficient with the ball too. She doesn't throw ball away, and she's 14 years old. So to have that level head at her, at such a young age is fantastic. But yeah, I think it will be a good game. Obviously, North will welcome back Maddie Vardy, and I do have, how we were umming and ahhing who was going to step in last week for North.
Oh yes, yeah.
Minnie Butters. So Trisha's daughter Grace advised me that Jamie Barr's the assistant coach out there. So she led the troops on Saturday. So I dare say that Maddie will take the reins again this weekend. But I think it will be a good contest, but I think Koroit will.
I think we're tired. I don't think there'll be much in it, but I think the Saints, bit of momentum after last week's win. Hamilton Kangaroos, they take on Terang Mortlake, another great game. And to be truthfully honest, I think it's a game that Terang need to win because they've been close the last few weeks against some of the top opposition. They just need to take a scalp.
It is. It's been hard. They've been with them for 3 or 3.5 and then have sort of faded away. And I'm sure Shani has addressed that during the week. But I think Hamilton will win and it will actually give them a little bit of breathing space in the 5. So I think for both teams it's really important. But yeah, I can see Hamilton bouncing back from last week. Yeah,
I think Hamilton as well. I've got a big opinion against Hamilton. And guess what? We've got Cobden. I forget who they're playing.
Warrnambool.
Hey, another great game.
Yeah.
Another great game. Good test for the Blues.
Great test for the Blues. And I think winning last week takes a little bit of pressure off because they've got that win, they're in the 5, things are looking okay. Yep. And hopefully that they can just go out and implement their own game plan. And Cobden are a very slick and polished side.
And depth.
It's incredible, the amount of depth that they have. So I think Cobden will experiment with some more lineups this week and, we just hope that Warrnambool can stick with them.
You're a person that's been around netball for a long time. When do you foresee Cobden really, sitting on the lineup that's going to take them into the latter part of the year? When, obviously they've got so many different combinations they can roll with and so forth, but when do you reckon Soph sort of sits down with the dean and the leadership group and go, right, this is the 7 we're going to set with and this is how we're going to be looking for, the latter part of the season?
It's a juggle. After round 10, qualifying comes into it. So players that play too many quarters up in open can't drop back. So I think that Cobden will be really mindful of that because they don't want to over-qualify someone that, potentially could have been playing consistent quarters in Div 1, but yet you still want to strengthen your open side. So I would say that they'll look at it for the next 2 weeks until we get to, the midway mark, and then they'll need to seriously probably tighten and monitor quarters after that.
I'd say be a little spreadsheet going on at
I
Sophie
think so
Hinckley's
too.
house and just sort of noting down all the data there just to try and make sure she gets the right fit. But
absolutely.
We laugh about it, but a really good problem to have.
Absolutely. And it's a credit to the Cobden football club that they've been able to draw so many players back. So, it says a lot about their culture.
Love it. Hey, big round of netball coming up. We must thank our sponsors, our major sponsors, SunGold Fresh Local Milk, McDonald's, Southwest TAFE and PowerCore, 4 great sponsors of the Hampton Football Netball League. Plus, Miss Kit Body and Beauty, our MVP sponsor. We love Joe DeLay and the team down at Miss Kit in Koroit Street in Warrnambool. Frolic Lane Bar. I know, as we said a couple of weeks ago, you love going there
great
for
cocktails.
a little drink on a Friday night or maybe a Saturday after netball just to wind down. They're great supporters of the Hampton Football Netball League as well as all of our other great sponsors. It's great to have everyone on board. Looking forward to a terrific round of netball. I think you look at the games and there's quality everywhere around the region. So if you're not doing anything and you want to go and take your young ones to the netball and go watch some great games, there's so many great games around the region. So go and check out Hampton Netball. It is firing in 2023. We look forward to catching you next week with all the results and interviews of the Hampton Football Netball League.